Hello and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are going to be reviewing a DYU electric bike. Now this is in collaboration with DYU. They sent me out this bike for free and I'm basically going to review it and give you my thoughts. I'm not being paid to review the bike. So essentially I like riding around on my bike around my local town, in London especially, and this is a fold up electric bike. So I'm used to the old pedal bikes and apparently the electric ones will help me go faster for longer as well. So I'm very keen to try out the electric bikes in an age of electric cars, just to see what they're like. I see the delivery drivers on them a lot of times. So it's very compact packaging for a bike. This is what we're dealing with right now. It seems like it's coming pre-built basically. Charger, spanner. So I've even got some sort of remote control for it right here, which is pretty interesting. Now it's a DYU smart electric bike, the A1F. Right, we'll see what happens. That's what I say. This is the bike. I mean, look at that. That is very, very small and compact. It comes basically pre-built, which is very, very handy. Strap there, keep that. Pretty much, you take off this Velcro strap, then this easily comes along like this. And if you look at that, the bike is slowly coming together. The small wheels are very interesting, and I'm very impressed by how sturdy it feels and how sturdy it is. Unclip this bit, make the handlebar loose so it can go in. The numbers are going to face us pretty much. When we put it in, close the lock. And do you know what? One thing I love about this already, this process, is just how simple and easy it is to set up. I bought a bike from £100 from one of the, a normal bike. And the process to get the wheel on, to set up the brakes, it was quite strenuous, and also my brakes have been messed up the whole time. So this is actually quite refreshing. Okay, that's nicely clamped together now. Close this, and then I use this lock here to make sure it doesn't come undone. No way you could get somebody sitting on the back as well. No, that maybe not two people, but still, that's really cool that you can get some stump pegs and it's got a little stand. Let me flip this round. So right here. Nice and sturdy stand. Man, that was such an easy build process. I can't believe that. Oh, you're kidding me. That's really nice. So what you do is there's a little lock at the front here. So you unlock it, get the handlebars, twist them around like this, and then just relock it. And that is so much easier than using an Allen key, and you can adjust it whenever you like. Possibly need some air in the tyres, because look at that back tyre. So I then screwed on the pedals by hand and tightened them up with this spanner that they also provide. It was a bit fiddly, but it was easy enough to get them on in the end. And then I simply charged up the bike. Now the charging port is a bit hidden. It's under the bottom of the bike, right underneath the clip that holds the bike together. And once that had charged, I then decided to take it out for a spin. So on my initial ride, I was slightly using the motor here. I was going uphill. Now I wanted to run you through a few first impressions for the bike. Now I think it looks very good. I think there's lots of cool features on it, such as the headlight at the very front here. For example, it's nice and bright, perfect for winter in the city, and it's a nice easy switch to get it on and off. The horn is extremely loud, perfect for the city again, and to turn on the bike and get the motor going, it's a simple one press on the power button. Now the brake wire itself I found to be very good, a small detail, but it doesn't get caught anywhere, it doesn't move, and the seat was extremely comfortable. It seems to be spring loaded, so it's got a nice bit of suspension and bounce to it, which is great for driving. And the clip itself, I thought it could be a bit wobbly. It is super sturdy, super strong, and I also love, weirdly enough, the brake discs at the back of the bike and the kind of motor area. So I was pleasantly surprised by it, and here's me unlocking the bike with the remote. And then, locking it, whatever I like to do, depending on if I'm using it or if I'm not using it. So it was quite cool to have a remote. And then I simply got on the bike, turned on the power button, and then it was time to roll again. So all we do to start up the electric side of things is this. You can see I'm now starting to go. Cool. I'm on, but I'm not pedaling. So right now we're going uphill, and it's actually getting a very, very decent bit of speed. Now to stop, you basically just hit the brakes. And it kind of keeps increasing in speed until, you're ready to stop. And it has surprisingly got, in my opinion, got a nice bit of kick to it. So here what I thought I would do is run a little test. Now the first loop I'm about to do is purely done by the electric motor. So I'm going slightly uphill
I'm not pedaling at all. I've just got the throttle down on the motor and I'm seeing how fast I can do a little looping. Now, bear in mind this is uphill, the camera's very zoomed out and it looks slower than it is. I'm actually getting quite a decent speed, and as soon as I went from the path, which is that first straight line, to the grass, I was able to maintain a bit of speed, which I thought was good. I lost a tiny bit, but then as soon as I was going downhill on the grass, I was gaining a lot of speed again, which is good to see. Now, the second time is me pedaling up. Now, I'm pedaling not my hardest, but I am going quite hard. I'm going quite fast. And as you can see, me pedaling quite hard versus me using the motor, once the motor's gained a bit of speed, it does kind of almost perform the same, if not better, I would say. And as we go downhill as well, I think on a small bike with small wheels, having the motor take you forward and push you is much better than pedaling down. I think you get more speed using the motor instead of pedaling. I think just because of the size of the wheels and the size of the rotation of the pedals, the motor's more. And here's me in the park again. I was doing exactly the same on much more of a flatter surface and using a hybrid of the motor and pedaling, and it was really quite good. I think if you use both, depending on the situation you're in, it really would improve the efficiency of your journey wherever you're going. Now, I also thought that when I was going round, that it did, for reasonable grass, handle it quite well, but it definitely left me under the opinion that if I was super off-road, as you would expect with a city bike, as you would expect with small wheels, it's not quite suited to that sort of environment. Now, I had a few people ask me as well, what's going on with this bike? What is it? Is it an electric bike, or why has it got small wheels? But I think it's nice. I think the colorways are nice. I think whenever you're going on a train somewhere and you need a small bike, it is perfect for that because it folds up nice and tight. It looks good. It's got all of the features you need for safety and for transport. And here's me coming down the other way of the slope this time on the path, really trying to go maximum speed with the motor. Now, whilst, again, because the camera angle and being zoomed out, it doesn't look the fastest, I promise you it was pretty fast. Like, it was fast, and here's me trying to do the same but also pedaling. Now, the thing with pedaling when the motor's on, I can't tell my legs fast enough, basically. I'll explain more now.
So I just took the DYU city bike out for a spin. Now, I have a few things I want to say before we head back inside. The motor on this, it's a really nice change to have a bit of kick behind your pedaling. So if you're going uphill, it can really help you out. And when you're going on harder terrain, you can pedal and use the motor and you get some really nice speed. If you're going downhill, then the motor's kind of the maximum speed that you can go at. So for example, when I was coming down here, I had some really nice speed. But if I tried to pedal to have more speed, then I couldn't because I can't spin my legs at the speed needed to generate more speed because the motor's doing it all, basically. The hooter is really loud. It really is designed for a city to be like a city bike, as we can see the light coming on off there as well. I think it looks very good, and I even had a few people ask me, is that an electric bike? Like, what's going on here? So obviously they're quite a new revolution, and with it being a city bike as well, they stand out even more. Now my tyres need a lot more air in, so that probably slightly impacted performance a tiny bit today. I think it's not built for going off terrain, it's not built for going on harder surfaces, it's a city bike. For being a city bike and going on, for example, the roads and having a bit of kick, a bit of speed, I think it's really well built and suited for that. I think outside of that, you struggle a tiny bit, but let's head back inside.
All right, so now I thought we could take a look at the specifications of the DYU A1F 16-inch full folding electric city bike. So its range is 30 to 37 miles in pedal assist mode. Now I think that is very, very large. Now I'm guessing that this means basically using the motor and pedaling at the same time. I didn't get a chance to fully test out the motor, to see if the range is true. So a bit of a disclaimer, I've only taken the bike out, built it, used it briefly today, and I haven't been able to fully measure the top speed, but 15.5 miles an hour on a flat surface, I would go, do you know what? It seems like it could reach those sort of speeds. Now, I think going downhill, it could probably go even faster, but I don't see it being a super, super speedy bike. So let's say, for example, you wanted an electric road bike for the city, then you probably want speeds of 25, 30 miles an hour. This bike wouldn't deliver this. This is more of like a bike that you take on and off the train. It's flexible, it's got a little motor, and if you're looking to go a few miles after work or in between places in London, for example, where there's loads of traffic, I think this speed is fine. And dimensions are right here. We can see quite small. The seat can go quite high, and same for the handlebars. If you was probably above 6'3", 6'4", then you definitely want to look at the dimensions closely and determine if it's right for you. Riding speed, as we see, 20 kilometers an hour, 15 degrees uphill, and its weight is, I think it's about 20 kilograms. It's not super light. So let's say, for example, you wasn't the strongest and you was trying to take it up and down stairs on and off busy trains, you might find it a bit too heavy. So again, charging is nice and easy. I think when I got the charging brick, it charged relatively quickly. It was quite straightforward. It did make a bit of a buzzing noise, and a 4-hour charge time is quite long. However, you do get quite a lot of usage out of the actual motor itself if it was to live up to its full pedal assist charge range. So I think whilst I'm yet to verify its durability and reliability, because I've only had it for a day and I've only used it this morning pretty much, I think from what I've used it, it's been good. And now I guess the question comes to, is the bike worth it? Now I think it really depends on your circumstances. So if you was walking for hours every day to get to your train station, and then you had to take a bike and you wanted a bike to take on the train so you could then cycle from the train station to work, then city bikes and smaller bikes are going to be your best option. And this one right here, from what I've experienced today in my limited sample, it has been good. It's been reliable. The stand's good. It's got all of the features that I would want and need. However, if I wanted to, for example, go off-road, then I wouldn't get this bike. And if I wanted to cycle all of the way to work, let's say, for example, it was like 10, 11 miles, then I would probably get a different type of bike. But for the quick journeys in between cities, to replace a tube or to replace certain elements during heavily trafficked hours in, for example, London, I think the bike and the concept behind it is very good, One thing that I would say that was quite tough was trying to inflate the tires was very hard, purely because to try and pump them up with air and then unscrew the little pump I have, which goes like this, all the air just came out. So I feel like that is something that could be worked on, / you need a proper pump. And there's a very nice customer picture of the bike right there. That looks very cool. But thank you very much for watching today's video. If you have any questions, do let me know. I'll leave a link to the bike in the description down below. And as I said, this video was not paid for by DYU, but they did send me out the bike to review. And I will catch you again soon.